The top 3 ways to feel like newlyweds. I love this topic. I'm very excited to go super deep on this and what this can look like for you. Yes, even if you've been married 10, 20, 30, 40, however many years, or you've been together however many years, this episode is definitely for you. And also, I think the last one that I'm going to talk about today will be the one that you are not doing. So stick around, make sure you listen to that because that is where the gold is. Before we go into that, I actually just want to share a personal thing that I have been doing at the moment to improve and enhance my life. So I am very much all for personal and professional development. I think I'm always trying to think of ways to improve, enhance my life. Don't get me wrong, I love my life, but I always think there's little ways we can make things a little less painful, a little easier, a bit happier, all of those things, right? So one of the ways is I've been making a pain point list. And so what this is actually a list of all the little things that kind of irk me or could use some fixing or refining or there's tangible things, right, that I could do about them. So let me give you an example. So one of them is we homeschool our kids and they have our area in our house that's got like desks and then stuff and it's also got toys in it. Anyway, it's an eyesore. I clean it all the time, but it gets messy very quickly. If you think about it, you've got all the books, all the things that kids need, especially in primary school. There's a lot of scissors and glue and cutting and mess. Anyway, so obviously we do cleanups and all of that stuff, but it just still gets messy. There's Lego where they're massively into Lego at the moment. It's the latest craze, which is awesome because they come together and they play so well. It is the sweetest thing. I just have to put up with the pain of Lego everywhere. When I say everywhere, they have a Lego table. So it does say relatively contained, but still little pieces just end up. If you've had that experience in your place, you'll know little pieces just end up everywhere. So today, I just want to float this idea by you and I want you to think about how it can apply to your life. My suggestion is to get a pen and paper and make a big list of like little things like that. So for me, things that went on my list were it was that room, that area that I'm just like, okay. And so since I've made that list, I've actively been thinking about how can I improve that area? What do I need to take out, add, change, delete, get rid of? So for example, in that area, there's a whole lot of kids' toys. My kids have grown out of them. They don't even play with them anymore. And I do regular culls, but still there's some stuff that have stayed sentimental value and all these things. And so they either need to go somewhere else or they need to be donated. And that's one thing I'm thinking about. And also getting rid of some drawers in there to make it better for them. So it's more space, it's cleaner, there's less clutter. And I'm thinking about this in all different areas. How can I optimize, streamline, make things simpler, easier, and have less pain? Another one, this is ridiculously simple again, chargers. One charger charges my phone, the iPad, and sometimes I need it in the office, sometimes I need it at home, sometimes I need a charger in the car. So it's really simple, right? I'm going to go on Amazon and buy those 3 to 4 chargers that I need. Such simple stuff, but stuff that if we don't take the time to sit down and really think about, we just won't do because it's like not a necessity. Like we don't feel like it's a necessity, but it can be, right? Because it stops me getting cranky at the kids for stealing my charger because they want it for the iPad, right? So it actually enhances and makes life so much easier. It doesn't cost much. Most of the time, it costs nothing, like the toy room example. But these things can make such a difference. So list out all of the areas in your life that are big, like a pain point, a sticking point for you, whether that's at home, wherever. And the reason you do this, it brings awareness to it is number one, you identify it. Then you can think about, okay, how do I change that? How do I improve that? How do I streamline this? How do I make it better? How do I put something in place? So go and make a big list of the pain points in your world, in your home. Do the home first because there's often a lot of pain points in the home. Think about how can I actually improve my home life and minimize those pain points. Those two things I shared with you are so simple and you think, how are they even a pain point? They're minor pain points, but if you can delete the minor ones, then you've got space to deal with the bigger ones, yeah? Those were your pain points, and then bigger pain points were like your relationship or weight or whatever. You've got bandwidth to go, okay, what can I do there? What do I need to add, change, delete, modify? Very powerful, really great exercise to go do. All right, let's jump into today's episodes. The top 3 ways you can feel like newlyweds. And I'm going to be honest, I've cheated a little bit here. I have combined a couple in number 1, a couple in number 2, and a couple in number 3 because there were so many ways that I could talk about this for days. It's such a good one. But there are pivotal things that you can do to help you feel like newlyweds. Number one is physical affection. I cannot tell you how this sounds ridiculous me saying, but it's so underrated. People just let it go. People go, "Oh, we've been married for so long, we have kids, blah, 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 blah." No, you should have physical affection. We are connection human beings. We thrive off oxytocin, which is the love and bonding hormone. When we get a long hug, it drops our cortisol. Like these things are important biochemically in our body, like creates different hormones in our body, but they're important because you feel more important, loved, connected, and appreciated by your partner. I don't see any downside. Do you know what I mean? Like it's so important. Simple stuff, holding hands, cuddling, dancing together in your living room, even physical closeness. Don't sit on opposite couches, sit close together. Being fit in proximity to one another is important. And if you watch Newlyweds, they do this all of the time. Sometimes you're like, hey, stop it, it's enough. They are always affectionate. They are looking at each other when they talk. They are giving attention and focus to that other person. And they're also looking at them in a certain way. They're not looking at them like, you didn't unload the dishwasher. They're looking at them like, you're amazing. I love you. Thank you for that. And if you also start looking at for those good things in your partner, you will see more good things. What appreciates, appreciates. You need to put your focus on the good stuff, not the bad stuff in your partner and your relationship if you want more of that good stuff. It's just common sense. Also, with that physical affection, open communication, really deep, heartfelt conversations. Stop talking about just the basic logistics. Yes, you have to have those conversations to run your lives, but it has to go deeper than that. You have to talk about your dreams, your future plans, express gratitude for one another. This is how you strengthen your emotional bond and you feel closer. The couples that you will see that have those phases in their relationship, or even it's continuous, where they still act a bit like newlyweds. They're still very physically affectionate. They're still spending time together. I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, they have deep conversations. They have the emotional intimacy there. They have physical intimacy there regularly, not just like on anniversaries. Heck no. Like it's constant. It's a thing that we do because we foster our love for one another. Yeah. And it also obviously meets each other's needs, emotional and physical needs. So it's so important. And if you want to ensure that you don't go down any slippery slopes with your relationship, then these are the things that needs to be in place. So make time for your emotional connection. Emotional connection leads to a better physical connection. Emotional connection makes everything easier in your life. Make the time, it will be worth it. Okay. So have the deeper conversations. Talk about your dreams, your fears, your goals, your worries, your concerns. Talk about it all, but be open and curious when they do, and never ever belittle it or put it down, right? Actually just explore it and be curious, even if it's something completely different than what you imagined. That's okay. That's why it's a space to talk about it. Number two is a big one. Unplug time together. You really must spend quality time together without distractions, whether it's getting away on the weekend or just an evening with no phones, no screens. It helps you reconnect and talk to one another. And to be honest, for a lot of people, it feels really uncomfortable because they're used to a device in their hands or they're used to looking at something when their partner's there. And some people can't even look at their partner. If that's you, something has to change. That's so important. So I want you to think about, for you, what could it be? Do you have unplugged time together? Do you have the intention? Do you look at each other? Do you spend that quality focused time together? Because that's very important. Another great thing to do is revisiting special memories. When you first met, you felt a certain way. Do you recreate your first date? Do you go through and look at the great feelings early on in the relationship? Actually, looking at those things creates that biochemical response in your body and actually brings it into the present moment. So, how awesome is that you can lean on those past memories to actually foster your connection now? So do that. Look at the wedding photos, look at the first date photos if you've got them, like whatever. Bring those memories or talk about them. Talk about them together because it's something that you both share, that you both experienced. That was such a great positive experience. And number three, the one that most couples aren't doing. And to be honest, it's two things in the one thing, but this is the one most people are not doing: spontaneous romantic gestures. Little surprises of unexpected love, whether it's a love note, breakfast in bed, surprise date night, all these different things can bring back excitement and warmth into your relationship. Now, I know there's some people who don't like surprises. I get that. So there's a way you can do that for them. But in general, these things are what builds the excitement. Like in the early days, what built the excitement was you didn't know the other person. You didn't know what to expect. Do they like me? Don't they like me? We get all dressed up and we put our best foot forward and we only show them our good stuff. Like that's usually what happens, right? And when you do new and different stuff, it builds the excitement and the anticipation and the joy back into the relationship. You can't keep doing the same old mundane stuff and expecting your relationship to be lit up. It's not how it works, okay? And I know that people will ask me this question, so I'm just going to address it right now. I want to be clear, just because I've titled this How to Feel Like Newlyweds doesn't mean you're forever always in your relationship of 20 years going to feel like newlyweds. That's not what it's about. But what it is about, and I don't expect you to stay there, right? Because you're not meant to. That's not how it works. To build a deeper, intimate relationship where you learn and grow together, things evolve and change, and you don't stay in that newlywed phase. But the point of this episode is you can capture joy, excitement, newness, fun in your relationship, just spice. You can have all of that again and repeatedly. Absolutely. That doesn't have to die and it shouldn't. So bring back some spontaneous romantic gestures and do new stuff together. Experience new things. Don't go to the same place for date night every night. Look, if you go to some place and the food sucks and the service sucks, you have a funny story for when you're out with friends, right? Or for you guys to reflect on even. If you go somewhere and it's a terrible experience, again, it's a funny story. If you go somewhere and it's the best place ever, then awesome, you've discovered somewhere new. So my point is you need to really be switching this up. Go to new destinations, take a class together, try a new hobby together, have a sense of adventure and discovery. A lot of times clients will say to me, once we got dressed up, didn't have the kids for a bit, went somewhere new, did something different. Like we got the fun and the joy and the dating back, the spice back into their love life and their communication and their intimacy and their emotional closeness, all of these things. So I really think a lot of the times couples are not doing the spontaneous romantic gestures. They think that stuff in Hallmark, and it doesn't have to be, it doesn't need to look like Hallmark. Let me be clear. I don't need you to get horses and carriages. But, like, it can be that little love note. It can be that little text message. It can be little things, like little blocks of chocolate, or it could be anything, like anything. Their favorite something that you saw at the shop, so you thought you'd get it. It can be anything. It's a big deal to your partner. So I really encourage you to please do the spontaneous romantic gestures. It means a lot and make them meaningful and specific to your partner. So if it's something that you like and you do it for them, then that's probably not going to land the same way. It has to be something that they genuinely love, want, need, desire, whatever it is. And so if you're not sure, have the conversation with your partner because we're here to learn and grow, and don't guess, like just ask. Now that doesn't mean get a list of things. Don't just get one, otherwise they'll know exactly what's going on. And spice things up, mix things up. Don't do the same things all of the time. Or, so for example, if my husband and I are going to stay in for a date night at home, because we do actually genuinely enjoy that. Now, that's clearly not a different environment. It sounds like it's going against everything I just said. You don't always have to get into a new environment. But what you do have to do is change things up. So, what we will do is we will go to maybe we might have had dinner with the kids at the dining room table. Maybe we'll go to the couch or to outside. We'll go somewhere slightly different. It can look different every evening or depending on what we're doing. It's a number one priority for both of us to spend good quality time together for a reason. And so maybe we'll light some candles. We'll maybe turn up. We've got some lights in the lounge room, turn off all the other lights and put those lights on. Maybe quick cleanup so there's no clutter, nothing that would deter from the evening. Turn our phones on flight mode in a different room. We would intentionally set it up to succeed, right? Maybe get a blanket if it's cold so we can sit together. Maybe we would spend the first half of the evening talking, maybe sharing some dessert, and then maybe we would watch a movie, right? So it doesn't have to be that you don't do those things. You can definitely do those things, but it's about the atmosphere that you create for yourself. So it doesn't even have to be a new location if that's not available to you. It doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be any of those things. Sometimes it is there's a couple of beautiful flowers in the garden. I pick them, I put them in a vase. We have dinner together at the table. It's different all of the time, but my point is you can definitely do that. I want to know, what is your main takeaway from this episode? And please, I'd love you to hit subscribe. I've got some great episodes coming up for you. So please hit subscribe so you get notified every time a new episode comes out, and leave a review because that helps other people find this episode or all of the episodes. And that means we can reach more people and help more people have epic, amazing, turned on relationships. So Please go leave a review, please subscribe. And also, just so you know, the couples counseling retreat on the Sunshine Coast is on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of November. It's in Kenilworth. It is an incredibly beautiful experience. I only have 2 spots left, not many at all. And it actually addresses everything we've just spoken about. So it gives you time for the physical affection. It gives you time for the deep, open communication and a strategy and a way to do that if you're not sure how. It helps you have that unplugged time together. There's limited reception, but yes, you are contactable if your kids need you. You get to revisit special memories in a certain way, in a proactive way that I'll guide you through. You get to have these romantic gestures because you're in that romantic space. You've got a beautiful spa bath, your own private cabin. You get to have the new experience together in a new environment. New environments create creative solutions. You actually get solutions to your problems in new environments. We have made some of our biggest decisions, my husband and I, when we go away for 1 or 2 nights on our own because we have the bandwidth. That's why we get in new environments, because it supports our relationship, because it gives us mental bandwidth. It gives us sleep, rest, relaxation. It gives us time to deeply connect more than what we can do at home without a shadow of a doubt. Because when we're at home, even when we set the environment up, sometimes you're still thinking about the washing, the dishes, this and that. And because it's so close, you can just jump up and do it. Whereas when we're not there, we've got no hope in actually fulfilling any of those things. So do new experiences together, spontaneous romantic gestures. And if the retreat's for you, send me an email or you can go straight to the page below and have a read and book in for a free call. Let's have a chat. Let's check it's the right fit for you and the right next step for your relationship. It is such a powerful experience that I'm so excited to guide couples on. It is a very intimate, close experience. You do not have to share any personal information with anyone. It's set up in such a way that it's workshop start and then we go in our own separate ways. So it's such a powerful experience. I'm so excited for you and your partner to save your relationship, stop feeling like roommates, and reconnect. Thank you for listening to today's episode. I look forward to talking to you shortly.